we have a little disclaimer flash in the bottom that this is
whatever happens during filming stays here. Shut up, Joe. You'll delete this part so it can't be used against us. Let's touch base on the things that people think are right, but are really big mistakes when you're trying to sell. Everybody wants to sell more, and they go down this road where it seems like the right thing, but it seems like it's the right thing, and they've probably been taught that this is the right thing. But we find that, I don't want to call it a mistake, but it's like, it doesn't really work. If you're really going to have high performance, it doesn't really work like that. So should we touch on like everything from, I mean, the whole process of the sale, not go through all the process, but the mistake people make in prospecting, in introduction, in just really quick.
Right. Sure.
Should we hit on?
Yeah.
So I would say the biggest mistake people make, let's say in prospecting, I would say it's who they're targeting, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Because most people are taught to do two things, and it's kind of right, but it's a lot wrong. Like they go to warm market, which is smart. And they go to obvious targets, like who do you think would buy this stuff? Like we're in the credit card processing business, right. So if I go out to warm market, it's going to be people who I know that accept cards, right? And which really makes a lot of sense. And I can probably think of 10, 12, 15 maybe people that are in my warm market that accept cards. And it's like, well, when I go out there, I might have the idea that I'm going to get all of them or most of them, and the real life, you're going to get one or two, and the other ones are going to be wishy-washy or something other than you expected. Somebody's going to go that you thought would be difficult. Somebody's going to go and not go that you thought would be easy. It's not going to go as planned. And then if you hang around long enough in this business that you just got into, you'll get a couple later, and then that's where most people die. And then they go out to the cold market, to obvious targets, and everybody that's ever done what it is you're doing has thought the same thing.
Right.
And they go down that market. And then it's difficult. You throw yourself into a wicked competitive situation, and that's really hard because you're new.
Well, you're basing the sale on the wrong thing, really. I mean, because when you do it that way, and again, we're I think using our industry here as an example, is if I go out to a client or a customer, prospective client, whatever, and they've been hit up 10, 15 times by 10, 15 different strangers, you look like a duck, you sound like a duck, so you must be a duck, right? You're just like everyone else. So you have to base it on something. In relationships, the number one thing. I mean, if you can base it on relationship, because obviously we all would agree, and I think in any industry, and I was actually talking with someone on our staff that used to do something different. She said, I used to sell insurance. And she goes, when I started selling insurance, they taught me to go to everybody that I knew, and I got all this intimate information on them, and it was uncomfortable because this and that. So everybody teaches you to go to people that you know, and I think that is certainly the most successful way that people start. But it has to go beyond that. And we've talked a lot about getting referrals and how to ask for them. And
you have to go in it to the mindset with the mindset that when I talk to Aunt Ginny or whatever, and seller, not seller, what I really want, because my warm market is like this big,
right?
But everybody else's warm market makes my
bigger
next tier massive.
So whoever's in Aunt Ginny's warm market, you want to bring into your market,
right?
And this is why when we teach this and we talk about like introduction. Let's talk introduction, because the best introduction you can ever have is go, hey John, how you doing? I'm Chuck. I'm from First Financial.
Ginny,
your Aunt Ginny said that I should reach out to you. Okay, that's the perfect intro. When you do a cold call intro, you can't say Aunt Ginny.
No.
Let's
say it's Bob. You're going, Aunt Ginny suggested Bob. I don't know who the hell Bob is.
Exactly.
But they do.
They do.
So all the marketing, all the cold calling to Bob, he would just treat me like everybody else.
Just everyone else, right. But when you come in and bring up a connection, then I always say it's yours to lose at that point.
Right. Well, it kind of half is.
Well, and look at it this way. One of two things, and this is where you got to get your mind right. We talk a lot about, I tell you, to be a really good salesperson, you've got to be kind of even keeled, and you got to be strong mentally.
Well, and you got to be at least thinking beyond.
And a little thick skin.
Yeah.
A little thick skin. But when you go here, okay, so when Aunt Ginny sends me to Bob, one of two things are going to happen, and it's a process. It's like a machine. You just send everybody through. I'm going to use my introduction, letting you know that I'm here because I was referred to you by someone that we both know, and then I'm going to go, whatever, right into my discovery. Whatever made you get into this business, or I might even add a little more discovery and go, how do you know Aunt Ginny? Or Aunt Ginny tells me that you're really big, whatever it is, because I want to get the dynamics of the deal, right? So I'm going to go through my process, and it's going to come to the end, and one of two things are going to happen. He's either A, going to move forward with me now. B, I'm going to go, hey, I understand timing's everything.
If he says no or not right now.
If he says no, not right now, then I understand time. And then C, hey, let me ask you, who do you know that timing would be right for?
Right.
And if you just, it's like cookie cutting this. And I know I get
It's
all
like
feisty.
connecting dots, or
It's
you know what?
the same.
It's two different kinds. One is connecting dots because I always want to catapult into
Right.
the next. But you're right. It's just the same thing all the time.
And it's repetition.
Yeah.
And you know what's funny about that is that when you do that, and you become so skilled because you've been to this rodeo so many times. You know exactly when my intro comes down, it's like a perfect science. It's like, I got my intro down. And you're so comfortable.
Yeah, right.
Because you've done it so much.
Well, I use in one of the other videos that we go through each of these segments in a lot of detail, and like your comfort. It's like you use the example of Elton John. You know, before he goes out and sings, the first time he ever sang this song to a bunch of people, he had probably practiced it
100 hours.
100 hours,
Right.
and however many times that is, mentally with the idea of who's in the audience and how it's going to go, and all these. He was prepared and he thought through it, and it's like the same process every time. And part of the process is you know that whomever you're going to talk to, it's either going to be yes, and you're going to get a referral, because it's marketing too.
Yeah.
It's not just selling.
Yeah.
You've got to be thinking, how am I going to market? And I can either spend huge amounts of advertising and get crap response, get cold response.
Well, you never know when you advertise. I mean,
Well, it's hope advertising. You hope.
Yeah, right.
You hope.
Well, and it costs you money.
Look, and up front it costs you money.
Right.
With this way, if I'm going to the people in my warm network, go to Aunt Jenny sends me to Bob sends me to Peter, Paul, and Mary. Now, and then Peter, Paul, and Mary send me to Ivan Schuster. I don't know.
And
but
it's free to ask.
It's free to ask, and
So
it's
it's
relatively relatively warm.
Exactly.
There's always a connection, and you don't have to go. You never ever probably ever have to go cold calling.
Right.
And this is what
You never should cold call.
You should never. Oh, God.
I mean, look, I get in
Unless you're cold calling, we have a segment on going, if you're doing joint ventures,
Yeah.
there's a way to cold call, but I don't like to use never ever always, but I think I would
Well,
never.
never's a long time.
Never's a long time.
Yeah.
But I can, for the foreseeable future or anything I can see, I have no interest in cold calling the people to buy my product.
and if you do it right, you shouldn't have to.
You shouldn't have to. And this is this way to prospect and using your warm market, not just your warm market, but to catapult them to their warm market. And you want to make everybody's warm market yours.
Right.
I mean, what do we, and you could, there's what is it, 6, 7, 8 degrees of separation, everybody's connected.
Right.
You only have to go that far.
And when you do that too, what you'll find is really weird, because and that's how we've always done it.
Right.
Is that you'll get the same referral from like 3 different people, and then when you go in to talk to that guy, you're going, hey, yeah, I've talked to a handful of people. They said I should give you a call. Oh, really? And you go, Aunt Jenny, Bob, John, Bill. They all said
Mary.
Peter, Paul, Mary said I should.
Yeah.
So, but I think the most important thing that comes with that is that you're expanding your network, and eventually your network is so large that whatever you're selling, you can't. It's the old power numbers thing, or it's a numbers thing. You ever hear that in sales too? Like people that aren't really, go, oh, it's a numbers thing. You just make enough. Yeah, I get that, and it is a numbers thing. But when your network is so large, and we'll talk later about how do you handle and manage that it's inevitable that someone at some point is looking for what you sell.
Right.
Because you have such a large segment of the population in your network that somebody in there is looking for life insurance.
Right.
Someone in there
At
is
some
looking
point.
At some point.
Yeah.
Maybe not today, maybe not next week, maybe 3 months from now. But if you're handling your data in your network properly and keeping that warm contact going, you're going to be the one that they think of when they go, I need a new car. Oh, yeah, I know Jeannie's nephew sells cars down at Rex R Us or whatever. So, but you can't help but grow your deal.
Right, and you made a good point about numbers. What's a numbers game? Numbers game. Yeah, but it's a warm numbers game. Right. It's not a cold number. Cold numbers game is a dog world and vice versa.
Yeah, no doubt.
Cold game.
Yeah.
A warm numbers game is 10 times better.
Exactly.
And in there you're going to hit things that you would have never expected. And I mean there are big veins of gold in there. And you don't know who's beyond, because you don't know who your people know unless you ask them, who do you know, to give me a lesson.
Gotta ask.